One thing that's been bugging me about LinkedIn is that people are literally just flat out lying and making shit up. They're literally making LinkedIn posts about shit that didn't happen. And I know this because I know some of these people and I know their actual background and I know what they do and this isn't just one or two. This is probably like over 20, 30 people. They are making up fake numbers. They're making up fake job postings. They're making fake posts or copying other people's posts to gain impressions and essentially create buzz. And I don't know, this just doesn't sit well with me. I honestly like, obviously the algorithm is optimized for engagement. And if you can create engagement, like if you say, oh, follow these 7 steps to 10x your revenue, I know for a fact they have not 10x their revenue. Or if they have, the revenue was $10 last month and it's $100 this month. But then they basically like follow these 7 steps and then comment comment a random buzzword, like comment crypto if you want to find out. And then you see like 70 other people commenting crypto, 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 crypto. And LinkedIn recognized that as a signal to push that content out. So these posts, these fakes, these lies, these essentially like all of LinkedIn is just filled with a cesspool of that. Honestly, I sometimes don't even open LinkedIn anymore because literally I read about like 12 lies a day. 12 lies a day by 12 different people, lying about how much money they've raised. I look up on Crunchbase, not a single dollar posted. Lying about their job. I look at hundreds of applications within the last 6 months, haven't hired a single person. I'm sorry, like at some point you gotta call it out, right? Like this is bullshit. What is going on, man? Like LinkedIn is literally becoming a cesspool. I know some people will say LinkedIn was always a cesspool. Okay, I know some people will say that, right? But when did it become a cesspool of lies? It used to be a cesspool of people gloating and flexing about their career and their achievements and whatever. At the very least, like you would have assumed that there was some level of truth in it. But now I'm starting to question everything that I see on LinkedIn. If I see a LinkedIn profile, I start to question, are they really like, did they really raise $20 million? Look it up on Crunchbase. Company doesn't exist, has no employees, like nothing. Like there is no fundamental backing. And so kind of like, now a lot of AI companies are spinning up that basically are around identity and privacy and KYC, know your customer. And at some point, it's going to be like know your employee, KYE. We're getting to a point where like they're going to start creating these tools, which is going to invade into people's privacies because of the cesspool that LinkedIn turned into. It's like a few bad apples essentially ruined it for everyone. Please, like, tell me that I'm not the only one who feels this, right? Like, I swear on my life, am I crazy, guys? I don't know. I feel like it's this weird phenomenon that's going on, and it just got really bad within the last year or so, especially like with the burst and or boost in AI. I guess people are just like talking to ChatGPT and trying to figure out content, and maybe ChatGPT is flat out making fake posts. Who knows? That could literally be it. Maybe like ChatGPT is throwing fake numbers out there, and they're just copying it and pasting it into LinkedIn, and then LinkedIn is now just like regurgitating these like fake posts by everyone, and it's essentially like created this ecosystem where everyone's copying everyone. Everyone has the same bullshit posts with essentially fake numbers, and that kind of overshadows the legitimate people or the legitimate businesses that are sharing real case studies and real numbers. And it's starting to get to a point where people like myself, and I'm sure others, are starting to doubt the value of a LinkedIn profile. And I don't want that to happen because I think LinkedIn is a super powerful tool. I just don't know why LinkedIn and Microsoft's not doing something about it. Like there has to be better regulation, right? There has to be like obviously they started adding like verification and identity as to where you work, which is great. But there should be like some level of verification as to like if people are sharing numbers, like for example, Twitter does this, or X, I guess. X does this, where it essentially has an AI built in that fact checks every post or any like post that is political or sharing some sort of statistic, gets fact checked against some like research or algorithm, whatever they do. I don't know what they do behind the scenes, but I'm assuming they scrape the internet and look for essentially evidence as to backing up the claim and providing some context or additional context. And I think like at some point LinkedIn's gonna have to implement something like this, like where basically people's posts need to be fact checked. If people are sharing numbers, or if people are sharing like certain insights that have 10x or 20x their revenue, maybe like doing some research into their company and realizing like the company's either fake, or a lot of the LinkedIn company pages are like literally shell companies or fake companies that people are creating to like basically boost and build up. And we kind of already knew this. I mean, we knew that people lie on resumes, which isn't a big deal at the end of the day. But it's getting to a point where like now people are learning from these fake gurus almost. Is that what you want to call them? I guess fake gurus. People are now like looking up to these fake gurus and absorbing these fake numbers and making decisions, which is very dangerous for society, because you're essentially like blindly trusting these people who have no idea what they're doing or talking about. They're sharing fake numbers. They're sharing frameworks that probably have never been tested. They're going to go in and burn hundreds of thousands of dollars into these tools or whatever, frameworks, whatever you're paying. I'm sure they're selling something behind the scenes. And yeah, you're going to get burnt. You're going to get burnt. I've also seen people literally like do fake funding rounds where they'll essentially try and get you to invest in their company. And it's like a Ponzi scheme where basically there's no real company. There's no real traction. All the numbers and the PowerPoints they share, there's no like, you ask them for additional details, so they won't let you invest. It's like, it's all fake numbers, but essentially they're like trying to get like 10 people to invest $5,000. So then they get 50 grand, and then basically like that pays their rent, housing, food costs for like the next 4 months. And then 4 months from now, they're going to incrementally increase their traction by like X amount to then bring on new investors, or even get money from the old investors, and essentially like keep it's a Ponzi scheme. I don't need to explain what a Ponzi scheme is to you guys, but essentially it's just constantly like getting investment until at some point it gets to a point where people start asking for returns, which almost always happens. I mean, when you make an investment, you're not going to forget about it. You just kind of let it sit for 3, 4, 5 years. And then 5 years from now, 4 or 5 years from now, you're going to expect the return. Like, hey, I'm trying to sell my shares, you know. And at that point, you're going to, or I guess the person's going to get caught. So essentially, they have like a 4 or 5 year window. Assuming they've set aside savings, they can last it out. A lot of people, like, I'm sure, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into this, but that's like based on my observation, and I actually heard stories about this. But essentially, they're good for like 4 or 5 years, and the idea is to last 4 or 5 years, and then eventually move on to something else. I mean, we've seen this at like large scales with Sam Bankman-Fried. We've seen Ponzi schemes happen throughout time. Like, they work. The sad reality is they work. And honestly, I've been just seeing so much of it on LinkedIn, especially the LinkedIn post, man. Like, I had to call it out. You guys tell me if I'm full of shit or not. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next one. Peace.